Hi, how are you? I hope you are having a absolutely fantastic day. I have been meaning to make this video for a while now. So I went to Five Below a few months ago, probably like 6 months ago now. I'll insert some footage here, but I picked up some art supplies. I wanted to challenge myself to make a masterpiece, if you will, with only Five Below art supplies. So let's just jump right into it. Here we are. We have so many good things to work with. The first thing I picked up was this little oval canvas. This came as like a paint by number with some paint and some brushes on the back, so figured this would be perfect. Next, this whipped paint. This was super interesting, but it came with all the primary colors, so what else could you need? I also ran into this color shifting iridescent chameleon paint, so definitely had to grab that. Brushes we always need, and then, oh my gosh, guys, the world's greatest pencil. Of course, I'm grabbing that. And then lastly, you can never have too many sketchbooks. This one was gray and brown paper, which I love. I loved toned paper, so let's get into swatches. Starting with the whipped paint, I do use these brushes to swatch the other paints we got and to make the actual painting, but for this, I'm going to be using a palette knife to apply them on a white section that I primed with gesso, the middle, which is just the tan paper, and then a black swatch as well. And as you can see, these were kind of scary. They were like almost blowing up in my face, but overall excited to work with these, and you can kind of see they have some good pigmentation here. Now the iridescent paint. This was way liquidier than I thought it would be, as you can kind of see here, but it's had some good shine to it. The colors were very pastel, a little bit thin and hard to work with, but overall I would totally use these as kind of like a glaze in the future, considering they aren't incredibly pigmented. Now what I like to call the nostalgic paint pods. These were, as expected, pretty thin, matte, translucent, but did dry the quickest, and did have some pretty bright colors as well. It's been about an hour, and I wanted to show these in natural light. So whipped paint, definitely not dry, so a little bit worried about that, but curious how these will work when you're actually painting with them with a brush rather than applying them with a palette knife. Chameleon paint's still a little bit wet on this one, but I did kind of goof and apply it very heavily. But these thinner applied ones are dry, which is good. Still a little bit of moisture though overall. These down here are all good and ready to go. So I decided to paint the Girl with the Pearl Earring by Johannes Vermeer. This is a pretty infamous one, so just throwing in a rough sketch on this canvas. I will say I did prime this with some gesso and some other acrylic paint. I will throw in a photo of what I used to prime the canvas that ultimately made it that like gray tone, but this was really just to give the paint the best chance of performing, and I got rid of the stark white that was on there, as well as the color by number little design that was on there. It was like a landscape. Rocking and ready to go. I think I'm going to start with these just because they dry faster, just to get down some initial colors here, and then go in with these after this is dried. I'm a little scared of these, so let's start here. So one thing I learned about this painting is that the background was originally a deep green color, but actually aged over time into black due to just the natural aging of pigments, environmental factors, heat, light, chemical changes, whatever that may be. So I thought that was super interesting, and we're actually able to detect that thanks to modern day technology like X-ray fluorescent something or another. I don't know, but super cool just how natural processes happen. And this this is a common thing we see with a lot of artists, right? Like what we see today in their famous artwork is not exactly what it used to look like. And the fact that we can uncover that and uncover history and like what pigments are underneath, oh my gosh, it's just so crazy. But yeah, that is my fun facts while we finish up the first phase of this painting. This is the current state before the chameleon metallic paints. I'm actually pretty happy with where it's at right now, but wanted to document this in case I do ruin it with the metallic acrylic. So let's see how we can finish this girl off. Looking back, I'm so happy I didn't stop there and I didn't end up ruining it, yay. So just did some final touches here. I'm really happy with how it ended up turning out. So let's just chill and I will see you guys in a sec. We are so close. Let's do some final touches. Overall, I'm super happy with how it turned out, but let's look at it in natural light. So what do we think? So you can kind of see the iridescent paint as it reflects in the light. But I'm super happy with this. In terms of the actual products, I have a few thoughts. So these guys, I will definitely use these to just get through them, to not waste them, probably for like underpaintings or priming canvases, things of that nature. So I really can't complain about that. These performed as I expected them to. Then the iridescent chameleon paints. I actually only ended up using 4 colors out of the 12-pack set. I did mention it earlier, but kind of glaze-esque use for these, like on top, on top of another color, instead of being used like primarily as the color. These whipped paints. So although I didn't love working with these, they actually did come in clutch to really get the dark tones I needed in the painting. Without them, like the black and the blue and the red especially, I don't think that would have turned out as good. I will say I did try to like mix them with water, mix them with the other paints. They mixed better with the paints. Water not so much, but that's to be expected, right? It's kind of like a moussey texture. But yeah, would love to hear your thoughts. How do you think I did? Flame me in the comments. If you found this entertaining at all, if you could like, subscribe, turn on notifications, whatever the hell, that would be great. And importantly, let me know what you guys want to see next. Different stores, different artwork, whatever it may be. You can also follow me on my Instagram at Corbin Paints. I hope you have another absolutely wonderful day tomorrow and the next day, and I will see you in the next one. I realized I forgot to mention the world's best pencil, which was obviously great. And then this sketchbook I also love and have used like already over the past few months. Like, she's beautiful. 10 out of 10.